Tasman and Coral Sea and inside the Barrier Reef, he was 10 miles per day down on his average and needed to keep the pressure on. This book is full of little treasures, such as his encounter with 20 migrating birds, and in fact birds are a feature of his journey throughout, and were sorely missed when he was truly alone in the Beaufort Sea. I was intrigued by Graeme's daily catch-up with himself over a rum and coke, where he revisited the day and his plan, and went forward with a renewed purpose. That habit would work, I am sure, for people in all sorts of activity, whether group or individual. There is a story I heard once that illustrates Graeme's winning attitude. He ran a car dealership in Christchurch and was taking a Rolls-Royce for a run when he got pulled over by a traffic policeman for some real or suspected infringement. After the necessary formalities and before saying goodbye, Graeme asked the officer, "Have you ever driven a Rolls?" It turned out that the answer was no, so Graeme asked, "Well, would you like to have a drive of this one?" And the answer to that was yes. I'm sure they departed on good terms, and that really sums up Graeme's dealings with people throughout his life and throughout this book. His life is a journey in which most of the interactions are win-win. Like Hayter, and I suspect most of the other soloists, Graeme has his share of confidence, and there are several episodes in this book where he takes the more bullish option while on the water. Yet one fact that shines through is that Graeme is definitely not a naive dreamer. He is very experienced on the ocean and knew his boats, even before he began investigating this journey. He is at home on the sea, not just as a cruiser, but also as an ocean racer. His journey approaching Cape Agulhas reads as pure magic, and makes one want to go to sea, as does the connection with the giant sea turtle, 2 green flashes, and the birds at Diomede Island in Bering Strait. Graeme, who is such a communicative individual, states that he wouldn't have contemplated the voyage without knowing that there would be constant communication with family, friends, teammates really. Occasional quotes open windows into the full experience, but I was lonelier in the hotel than I had been on the boat. All in all, this is a book to be savoured, to be read time and again. Tom Snackenberg. Tom Snackenberg is synonymous with yacht racing innovation and success. He's been involved in 12 America's Cup campaigns, including designing sails for Australia 2, the yacht that in 1993 took the Cup away from the US, and was design coordinator and navigator for New Zealand's successful 1995 and 2000 campaigns. In 2003, he headed the Team New Zealand syndicate. A physicist with strong ties to the University of Auckland, Tom brought cells into the computer age, adding new designs and new ways of testing, such as the twisted flow wind tunnel, which simulates the winds to see how cells behave. He is a member of the America's Cup Hall of Fame. Prologue. The ice was here. The ice was there. The ice was all around. It cracked and growled and roared and howled, like noises in a swound. Samuel Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I stood alone in the cockpit of Astral Express, peering into the fog. To the west, in the invisible distance, the vertical slopes of Baffin Island plunged into the sea. At this latitude, most of North America sprawled behind me, to the south and west. Greenland's icy wastes lay some 125 miles to the east. At around 73 degrees north and well inside the Arctic Circle, I had reached the ice edge. For 3 days I'd been sailing around icebergs, but now ahead was a stretching field of thickening ice. It was about 5 in the morning, daylight in the fleeting Arctic summer, but fog pressed around me, drawing a grey veil over the world a couple of 100 meters ahead. A silent world, apart from the cold sea lapping at my boat, but underneath me now, ice roared across my keel. Sea ice. Most of the ice in the Arctic is this, frozen seawater. When it freezes in a calm sea, it's nice and flat and easy to traverse, but as the wind increases and the seas build up, the pieces crash together, tipping and pushing against each other so that they rise up to form a jagged, mountainous terrain, an ever-changing landscape. I had reduced sail and was meandering into the white, giving myself time to figure out the best way through. A strange smell hung in the air, and I proceeded cautiously through the fog. Unlike icebergs, which form from glaciers in the valleys of the land, sea ice conducts its life cycle in the ocean, forming once the water temperature reaches about -3 degrees.